My greatest fear is to make a really shitty, embarrassing, pompous film on an important subject, and I am doing it. Francis Ford Coppola, 1978, recording Apocalypse Now.
Hello and welcome back to the Bobby and Beardy Show. I'm Bobby. That gentleman over there is McBeardy, and today we are going to be talking about Megalopolis. Oh dear Beardy, how are you? Are you well?
I am getting unwell. I am sadly, I think, coming down with maybe cold. 2 days before my first holiday in 5 years, as we have discussed, which makes me very sad. So I am flu pilling it up. I will refuse to be unwell. As soon as the sun hits me, I will be revived. But other than that, yes, I'm very good. How are you?
Well, other than the fact we're doing one of our famed 8 a.m. recording sessions due to scheduling and your holiday and the fact that I tricked you into seeing this film. Pretty good.
Yes, you did.
Right, let's crack on with the show. I'll give you the rundown. Megalopolis is an epic science fiction drama written, directed, produced by Francis Ford Coppola. Coppola conceived the overall idea for Megalopolis towards the end of filming Apocalypse Now in 1977. So this has been around for a while, which means it's going to be a well-oiled machine that makes sense, and everything's going to be perfect. The film stars Adam Driver, Giancarlo Esposito, Natalie Emmanuel, oh my word, it's 8 a.m. Leave me alone. Aubrey Plaza, Shia LaBeouf, and Jon Voight. It was released yesterday, the 27th of September 2024. The runtime is 2 hours and 18 minutes. Let me tell you, it feels like longer. Let me tell you.
It's so
Let me
longer.
tell you. Oh my word. A budget of 120 million. And I'm not going to tell you a box office because it did come out yesterday, but I would be astounded to see this doing well. I'm
not sure. So I think it's got this idea of being so avant-garde and edgy. A lot of reviewers so far are saying you must go and see this. Watch him take a risk. Don't.
It's garbage. I've got some notes. There's time codes below. We're going to do spoilers. But first we're going to do spoiler free. But really, the most important thing is, Beardy, what the hell is going on here?
So I usually have a bit of a breakdown or a rundown. I
had a breakdown watching this film. Oh, got him.
It's designed to draw parallels between the fall of Rome. In this, you have an Americanized New Rome where Caesar is trying to create a utopia where he is clashing with Cicero and what's the other guy's name? I have forgotten it. Claudio, sorry. It vaguely references the actual fall of Rome. Some storyline stuff is clearly wrong. It is... Yeah, it's a bit of a LSD-based fever dream of how that would happen. I'm not artsy enough to fully understand what's going on. That's all I can say. I am both happy and unhappy I didn't take Tegan to this, because I think she would have liked the costuming and understood it better than I did, but I also saved her time. So.
I feel like this film is one of those, when you're in an art gallery and you're looking at something, you're just like, this is dreadful. What is this? And then some guy comes and stands next to you. He's talking to somebody else, and they just go on and on about the meaning of this and that, and the colours and the symbolism. And I'm just standing there going,
"Yes,
isn't this the poo emoji from my phone? Isn't that what I'm looking at?"
Yeah. I fully agree. I do want to defend a couple of points. Like I say, I think costuming was interesting, and I think it fits with the narrative quite well. I do think some of the recording style and some of the shots were done very nicely.
I think some of them are very bad as well.
Nice. Yeah. Well, that's why we got a balance. But I cannot defend much more. Storyline, acting, script. I'm going to do it right now. My favorite quote from this film is, "What do you think of my boner?"
We'll have to talk about that about spoilers a bit later on. But yeah, that is a quote. That's a scene.
That is a quote. So yeah, it was an experience. I'm not going to give away too much right now, but it's the most amount of times I've almost fallen asleep through a film.
Well, here are some of my notes. I got home yesterday and I was like, I don't actually know how I'm going to start describing this film because it's just stuff. But here are the first couple of notes I wrote down: dreadful, drivel, nonsensical, the ravings of a madman. It's boring. The 2 hours feels like 3 hours plus. What is this film? I feel like I'm tripping on acid, but missing any hint of the good time that tripping on acid is occasionally alluded to having. There are some, what I'm going to refer to as intentionally terrible green screen effects. And I feel like I'm giving them like the good grace to pretend it's intentional, because my God, it looks just bad at times. I'm going to pretend it's an artistic choice just to let you have it. This is the ravings of a madman. This 1977, the concept of this film was created. And if you start doing any brief research into this film, you just start hearing about the chaos on set of Francis Ford Coppola not telling people what they were doing that day. He was rewriting things. When they started doing the pre-production and stuff, they were doing theater pieces and just ad-libbing and creating that. It's like, but you've had 40 years to write a script that makes sense here.
Yeah.
Now you're kind of just making it up on the day, and boy, is it a film that feels like it's just made up as it's going along. There are plot points that vanish or have just no relevance for being in the film at all. There's a old Soviet satellite that brings nothing to anything.
It's the cause for the disaster. Don't get me wrong. It's a very slow nudge in the direction. It doesn't have the gravitas that it should. But I do get your point. Yeah, 100% fine. I forget I said that.
I honestly, it could have been.
Yeah.
Could have been it. I think some of the acting is atrocious. I completely agree. In places, there's one scene where Adam Driver and Natalie meet in his office for the first time. She's gone to collect a letter that she wrote, and that exchange between them is it's like watching the worst actors in your high school drama class do a scene for the first time. It's really weirdly wooden and and cut together. Oh. Dreadful.
No. I'm completely inclined to agree. Something that obviously you discussed the budget. The 120 million is self-funded.
Yes, told his winery basically to do it.
Yeah, Coppola is adamant this needed to be made. It was a story that had to be told. And don't get me wrong, made some good films. Completely agree. This is. The thing I'm so impressed by is how so many good actors have been pulled into it. I just don't understand Dustin Hoffman, Jon Voight. Jon Voight is the one who says, "What do you think of my boner?" I don't get it. What acid trip did he set up?
It feels like he went, "Yeah, I've made some good films. You want to make a film?" And I went, "Yeah," and then they just signed the paperwork and didn't look into what they were making, unless they were all
he gave them a script to pick.
Bamboozled by what were they on acid? Were they all on drugs? Did they think
honestly,
this was good?
All I can think of is he gave them a page at a time and said, "Look, it'll make sense in the end. Just read it."
Yeah, honestly.
Could you also explain why some of the acting choices are the way they are, where someone's character, as you mentioned, is very wooden in one scene, but very sort of free-flowing and kind of natural in some of the others? It's the inconsistency that really hits home, as well as the fact that I don't actually understand what's going on.
I
still don't.
I don't really think anybody does, to be honest. I don't think a single person involved in this film knew what they were making. If I'm honest.
I think this might be a trick to you watch it once, you don't get it, you're like, okay, I'm gonna have to go see it again, and then suddenly box office booms. That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
But you're right though. There's some good actors in this. Adam Driver is a good actor. That's basically universally agreed. What is he doing in this? Adam Driver, make better choices. It's also got Shia LaBeouf in it. He's gross. He gives me the ick. That's my review. When I realized he was in this film, I was like, oh no, not for me.
But he was a good cast for that character.
Yeah,
because that character kind of gives you the ick.
Yeah, absolutely. In fairness, yeah, 100%. But
yeah.
There's
the thing I don't particularly like I think it's one of those people don't always know the story this is based on, obviously the Fall of Rome. So it's a great story to adapt, but then you've also kind of made it fit your narrative. So the relationship between Caesar, Cicero, and I forget his name. This is going to do me in. Claudio, or Claudius, but Claudio in this. Yeah, none of that's right, like at all. it bothered. I like sort of the ancient history stuff, and it bothered me as we were going through it. Plus, some of the references made no sense. It was just one of those. I want to make something very edgy and avant-garde. This sounds right. People aren't going to check. It'll be fine.
If they were doing the Fall of Rome in modern America, like a slightly futuristic modern, then I think that would be fine. But then they throw in a lot of other sci-fi stuff. Which I think there's one thing I feel like I just need to talk about in spoilers because I didn't know it was in the film at all. But I didn't actually see a trailer for this film, which is probably why I accidentally tricked you into watching it.
I saw one trailer on YouTube.
Right.
That is it. So I knew the thing existed, and to be fair, the trailer made it look relatively interesting. I expected this to be what is that film with Hugh Laurie?
House, but shown on the big screen. Tomorrowland.
It's going to come back to Tomorrowland. Yes, it seems like a that sort of thing. Maybe a slightly more adult version of it, but that. And I was like, you know what? I can make that work. That's fine. Went in straight away and it's like, the beginning. Maybe it's going a different direction to begin with, and it'll come back. No, it never came back. It went further away.
Yeah. I want to talk about the beginning and how that kind of there's a little thing that pops up, but also it's another thing that I don't think it actually adds anything to the story. It's just a thing that happens, like a character can do. But we'll talk about it in spoilers.
Oh yeah. No, I completely agree. That the film is not changed without that. Which we'll get into the spoilers.
doesn't make any sense. Also, this film just has repeated incest theme. Like, I don't know, if you start bringing it up so many times, I know it's Roman stuff, but I'm like, come on, bring it up too many times. I'm not happy about it.
I will applaud them on the fact that the only slightly graphic section they show is technically not incest. It's married in incest.
It's stepmom stuff.
Yeah,
people on Pornhub will be going
wild. True. Oh my god.
Are you aware that there's a thing in this film? Did you watch this in IMAX or standard?
Standard.
Yeah, so did I. Okay, there's something else I want to talk about in spoilers.
So I do know this with the interview scene or like
there's
the
an interview
press conference scene.
Yeah. We'll talk about it. I'm ready to go into spoilers because there's only so many times I can just repeat dreadful, drivel, and nonsensical and the ravings of a madman. So I'm going to give this a huge. I'm double thumbs down in this one. This is
wow. He's breaking his own rules. There's only ever one.
Yeah, I mean, this only one counts, but I just want to show how much I just like. What is this film? All right, great.
I would like a refund.
I
didn't pay.
Didn't pay for this film. It's part of my unlimited Cineworld card that I used to watch all my movies, and I still felt a bit ripped off. Spoilers. Here we go. Okay, so the thing we'll talk about this really quickly because I'm fascinated. I kind of wish I'd seen it in action because it would just been another thing in this film that like, why is this occurring? So basically, reportedly, and I know it has happened because I've heard some other people talk about doing it and seeing it. If you watch this in IMAX or special screenings of Megalopolis, during a sequence where Caesar, that's Adam Driver's character, by the way, I don't think we clarified that, to be honest. He's taking questions from the press and an employee of the movie theater or a guest they've invited or somebody special kind of walks down to the front and the house lights are meant to come up and miming the question that's played over the speakers. So it's not them just shouting at the screen. It's them miming along. Asks Caesar a question, at which point he looks directly at the camera and speaks to the audience. Why? Why would that be a thing? Why would you do that? That doesn't make sense to me.
I completely agree. I don't like that as a concept. I would accept it in some roles, in some films. I don't mind it where you see in like theater and stuff, and there's more audience involvement. It's weirder in a movie. I get that. But if it was relevant, like for example, in a film that has so much like fourth wall breaks, like maybe Deadpool or anything like that, I'd accept it because you know what, that ties that together. This seems just weird for the sake of weird, edgy for the sake of edgy, which is all I can say about this film.
Yeah, I just don't. It would work in the theater. You're watching a play. You're watching this as a play, which I could somehow see working slightly more somehow.
Yeah.
And there's a press conference scene, and an actor, a plant, suddenly stands up and says this thing, and then the big monologue. I can see that working perfectly in that setting. I mean, again, I'm talking about something I didn't technically see. So in the version we watched, he's just asked a question and he kind of talks to the audience in the press conference. It's like a different shot. But yeah, it's just what what's going on?
Yeah,
okay,
no,
go for it.
No, I was gonna say, like, there's just so many random things thrown in for no reason. Like, we've discussed the fact that it was originally like as a concept in 1977. I think there was a partial script in 1983. So this has been 40 years, and there's still small errors, like the fact that the Roman side of it doesn't make sense, but they keep making reference to Greek gods for no reason. Like, that doesn't sit. You've got 4 decades. I'm not even 4 decades old, and I know that's wrong. Like, it just doesn't sit right.
Yeah. The other thing we briefly alluded to before we went into spoilers is there's a thing at the start, and it pops up over the course of the movie, and it's another thing that kind of adds nothing. Adam Driver can stop time.
Yes.
Like he almost commits suicide at the start and then doesn't because he stops time. I feel like in most time stopping scenarios, like in the ITV classic Bernard's Watch from my childhood, I'm pretty sure if he'd have clicked his little granddad's stopwatch, pocket watch, while falling off a building, he would have kept plummeting. I think those are the rules that I'm used to in time stopping. But he kind of pauses. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's the whole thing. He can stop time.
It does matter,
and he does it occasionally. And at one point he loses his power, and then he just Anthony Emmanuel's character goes, maybe you should just have your power back. Essentially, it's one of those classic scenes. Maybe you should just have your power back. And he's like, okay, I've got my power back now. And they share a big kiss.
I think so. I have some notes on this. First one being, I completely agree. Like, if he can be stopped from falling by it, he also then shouldn't be able to start moving around in the stopped time. One of those two things needs to happen.
And then the end of the film,
I completely agree.
When they stop time, the baby's just left on its own, going, "Oh no, time has stopped." And what's that ending?
Yeah, so does the baby's going to have to learn to talk? And because the thing is, they don't.
A baby's
just stop
starving to
time
death
by thinking it. Yeah, they have to ask time. They are polite. They say like they. I do think they use it as a slight driving plot point. So, like, obviously, like you said, Natalie Emmanuel's character, she mentions like, "Oh, you can get it back. Just hold me and ask." And like, "Oh, you're the right person for me because now it works again."
She's his muse,
it's still dumb.
kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's
yes.
It's probably not meant to be real. Perhaps it's meant to be like it's just his creative process and how he does things, and he goes on massive benders, and then he comes back with ideas, and maybe it's not even meant to be a real thing. Who bloody knows? But it's just another thing that's in there. I'm like, why is this? What's happening? Why am I watching this?
I can't remember the right name for it, but again, whilst we're talking about things that are right and wrong and inconsistent, the thing where they have like a screen fill and someone reads the chapter title. Lawrence Fishburne, great actor, great voice, reads a couple of them, doesn't read some of them. Who chooses which ones he reads? Like,
sometimes
so
he's
weird.
just the narrator, like he's in a scene thinking things that he's witnessing, and other times he's just not there at all for like half the movie. I'm like, what?
I do like when in one scene he's the narrator and then he cuts over himself to talk. I quite like that.
Yeah, that was fine. And then he disappears for like the majority of the rest of the movie. I'm like,
It's. I think again they tried to draw a parallel with Caesar being assassinated by the senators. In this, a 12-year-old shoots him in the face.
Quite a good scene, actually. I actually did enjoy that scene.
It's not bad. It's again the acting felt a bit stiff. But it's Adam Driver's character softening a little bit, trying to be nice to the kids, and anyone else in the background, all pregnant and stuff. And then, yeah, this kid pulls a big gun from somewhere, shoots him in the face, and runs off when there's police around. No one stops the car driving away. Like, it felt fine. It felt tense, but not happy.
They also try and bring him down by falsifying some imagery to make it look like he's having sex with a 16-year-old, and he's arrested for that.
Yeah.
But then it turns out she's not 16, so it's fine, and also it's faked document, like the faked footage. Like, all right, and then 2 minutes later, that entire thing's dropped. Like, that's barely referenced ever again. Natalie Emmanuel's like, no, she's old enough. Actually, it's fine. And you're like, well, he still thought she was a 16-year-old, and then you're like, oh no, also the footage was faked as well, and like almost in like a news report or something. I'm like, okay. And then we just move on with the story. Like, oh, right, we're just done. Okay, that's just a thing that happened. After quite a long musical number as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That entire scene just went on. Again, it was more of an acid trip. I don't understand the point of it. And the fact that it went from, like, they're bidding on this girl's virginity, I think, basically. She wants to get married as a virgin. They're bidding for this. It goes from 10 grand to 100 million.
Yeah, and I don't understand how that works. Like, were they just giving money to the city so that, like, who's benefiting? But because for a second I was like, are you paying to take this girl's virginity? That's a bit weird in itself. But then I was like, I think they were just giving money to the city as like a charity fundraising case, and she'd be like, yeah, I won't have sex. It's good stuff. All right.
It's so weird.
There's I'm almost done with this film. The Megalopolis is also a new super element, which is another sci-fi thing, which looks like weird fungus when it grows, and it replaces Adam Driver's face when he gets shot in the face by that kid. And I thought he was going to have a weird Phantom of the Opera mask for a while, and then it just disappears. Aubrey Plaza can do hypnosis as well at some points in time, or she's a witch. There's a scene where she's looking into a cauldron or something, and then she's like going, you'll give me that. She marries the old banker guy, and he's like, you'll give me power. Yeah, John Voight. It's like, okay, there's this new super element. I'm like, is this needed? If you're doing a new America, old Rome symbolism, is this needed? This magical super element that can, the best thing it seems to be able to do is, you know, when you're at the airport and you can stand on the travelator. The travelator. There's slower travelators. There's no regular paths. Everything's a travelator. I'm like, that doesn't seem convenient. And the mayor, his wife's like really trying to keen to get him on it, and like she's on the travelator moving, and he's like moving at the exact same speed of her. And like towards the end, he's like, "Oh, fine, I'll get on it." Like, I feel like she should have been down there, and you know.
Oh, 100%. Because at this point, he's hobbling around. He can't walk very well.
He's putting his walking stick to his driver or something. I don't know.
Oh, and another whole plot point with the mayor Cicero, who apparently did some illegal, dodgy dealings, covering up Adam Driver's first dead wife, which gets referenced, which is quite a significant plot point. It could have been a really good thread to follow, and then gone. Just gone.
I want you to stop seeing my daughter who's pregnant with your child. I falsified documents and I'm a bad guy. I'm the bad guy, actually. The reveal, essentially, and I'll admit that if you leave her. There's never a conversation about him leaving her again. There's never a moment of tension in his life where he considers leaving her. There's no ramifications from the mayor who goes, well, I've revealed my hand here that I'm the bad guy. And then he's not the bad guy, and then they're just a happy family at the end. What?
I know, doesn't I honestly would like to forget this.
Well, you're never going to forget this film, because now we get to talk about what do you think of my boner scene?
Which, arguably, one of the better scenes in the film.
Shocking scene. For me, at least. Do you want to?
It's just the fact that, like, so John Voight's character is in bed. He's on his deathbed. His young wife, Wow Platinum, Aubrey Plaza, walks in after she's been conspiring with Claudio. And we are like, oh, John Voight's character's dying soon. He's sitting there with just this raging heart on. massive thing, comically large. They start talking about like how they're kind of what they're going to do when he dies, and he then whips off the blanket to reveal like a mini bow / crossbow sort of thing.
It's no, because he was dressed as Robin Hood earlier. It's definitely a little bow.
Oh, it is a little bow, isn't it?
Bow and
Yes.
arrow. It's about this big, and he pulls it back about this far, and it fires with
ridiculous power. Right into Aubrey Plaza's chest. Again, comically impaled. She goes down. Shia LaBeouf starts freaking out. He starts running. He gets shot in the ass
twice.
And for some reason, I was going to say, as he's running away again, he gets shot in the ass again. They cut to a scene a bit later on where, his name again, but he's pulling the arrows.
His henchman is pulling the arrows out of his ass, and then they get beaten up by the thugs. Oh yeah, there's a whole... Shia LaBeouf is trying to do some like political, I'm maybe Donald Trump stuff. I'm a man of the people, but I'm clearly not. Things.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I honestly, it sounds really harsh, but unless there's anything else you want to say, I'm kind of done.
Oh no,
I'm
done. I'm done. We've spoken way more about this.
I was done 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, honestly, I could have just cut this after 5 minutes of just telling you it was dreadful. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I cannot stress that I do not recommend this film enough. But if you do go and watch it, let us know what you thought. But it's not my recommendation. Let it be known. We'll be back in a little bit because Beardy is a busy boy, smidge.
Selfishly,
but I've got some stuff for you in the old dome, the old pipe work. I have a bit more. You might have an occasional Bobby and No Beardy show. Maybe we'll see how it goes. But he'll be back soon.
He's trying to kick me out.
I'm not trying to kick you out. I'm not trying to kick you out. I'm gonna keep the show moving, my friend. But when we do come back. I promise I won't make you watch Megalopolis ever again. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time. Farewell.
Bye-bye.
Honestly, fucking dreadful.
The worst. Just the worst.